We are here with the great Michael Bisping, who just finished up his weigh-in show. What'd you think? First off, Geoff Neal missing weight by 4 pounds, pretty surprising.
Such a shame, a shame, because that's such a great fight, it really is. Friend of mine that I work with on BT Sport, Nick Pete, he's the #1 founding member of the Shavkat Rakhmonov fan club.
Yeah.
And he's actually the representative for Kazakhstan now, because he loves him so much. But his theory was that he thinks that Geoff Neal missed weight on purpose. Okay. Statistically, people that miss weight, they go on to win the fight most of the time. And he thinks that he didn't want to push himself too hard in the weight cuts because he wants to perform in the fight, so it's worth forfeiting 20% of the purse or whatever it ends up being. I don't know about that. I'm not saying that, but it's an interesting theory. It's disappointing. It really is. Either way, Geoff Neal's got a tough fight. He's got a really tough fight. Shavkat is something special. 16-0, all finishes, great style, great skills. But listen, Geoff Neal, whatever, he missed weight. Got to put that out of your mind now. Focus on the fight.
What do you make of maybe him still having an injury, right? He was very sort of hush-hush on the whole thing. They had the fight scheduled for January. It got moved around. Do you think maybe it was injury-related, the weight cut mess?
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Or maybe you just didn't push yourself in training camp. Maybe you didn't follow your diet. Maybe you didn't do the road work. I'm sure he's not underestimating Shavkat, though. So who knows? Only Geoff Neal can explain that.
A finish for Shavkat, does that get him that top 5 opponent and potentially start talking about him in the title picture?
Well, he should do. I think Geoff Neal's #7 right now.
Yeah.
So Shavkat, needs some of those bigger wins. Certainly got world championship potential, without question. Just need some of those bigger names, and Geoff Neal would be the first one. There's obviously other ones to go, but if you can go out there and get another finish, 17-0, all finishes, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Which way leaning in the main event, Jones or Gane? What are your thoughts on that fight? Because there's a lot of unknowns on both sides, I think, going into this one.
Yeah, no, it's hard. I mean, listen, the smart money is on Jon Jones to go out there, out-wrestle him, take him down, ground and pound him, look for a submission. But every round starts on the feet. And Ciryl Gane is very elusive, he's very fast, he's very quick, and he's very mean. He's a very powerful guy. Look at what he did to Tai Tuivasa, to Derek Lewis. He turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler. The man's very dangerous on the feet, but can he stop the takedowns? He's been training with a lot of Dagestanis, so a lot of wrestlers in the training camp. His coach, Fernando Lopez, is very confident in that. But stopping wrestling in training is different to stopping it in a fight. Yeah. Stopping wrestling when there isn't punches, setting it up, is completely different. So it's basically one of those striker versus grappler, even though Jones isn't a striker. Sorry, isn't a grappler. He's a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and that is what poses the real threat.
In your career, you moved down from light heavyweight to middleweight. Jon is moving up to heavyweight from light heavyweight. What do you make of him moving up? Because we saw, obviously, Adesanya move up and fight Jan Blachowicz, not have success that way. Do you think that's going to be a factor?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing it a little bit differently.
Yeah, he hasn't three years to do it.
He hasn't just jumped up. He's reinvented himself. He's come back heavier. He's done a lot of soul searching, shall we say. He said he's been speaking to a lot of people, a lot of psychologists, working with David Goggins, a lot of mentors, as well as working very, very hard. Says he's living a true martial art lifestyle. I mean, listen, Jon Jones is incredible what he's been able to achieve. So I am excited for his return. Looks a little softer at heavyweight. Rightly so. I mean, he's going to be heavier. I think when you look at Ciryl Gane, he's a natural heavyweight. I think with his shirt off, even if he wasn't training, he'd look like that. Even if he wasn't a professional fighter, I think that's probably a lot to do with his DNA. He's just gifted like that. Jones is a bigger guy. He's put on some weight, maybe not the best weight, but as we know, if you look at Fedor Emelianenko, you don't need a six-pack to be a great fighter. Tyson Fury, the best boxer that we've got on planet Earth right now in the heavyweight division, is not winning any bodybuilding competitions anytime soon.
A couple rapid-fire questions. Usman or Edwards next or this month, I should say. Who do you give the edge to? You're trying to multitask.
No. You're good. Yeah. I can't go against Leon Edwards, can I?
No.
Can't go against Leon Edwards. I'm going to have bloody everyone in the UK coming after me. And he did it last time out. He got the head kick. He got the knockout. I think he's going to be even more confident. I think that Usman coming in first might change things. Will he be the same after the knockout? A lot of people say you can't come back from that. I say he can. I think he's going to be fine with that. I did after Dan Henderson, People say you can't come back from a knockout like that. You can. I did it. Usman was an incredible fighter, pound for pound #1 at the time. So that's disrespectful to think that he can't. He's going to know what he's got to do, which is not stand with him. He's going to wrestle like crazy. It's a tough fight for both men, but let's go, Rocky. Love Usman. Big fan of Usman, but I got to support my guy.
Same thing with Adesanya Pereira, similar fight that happened the first time around in the MMA cage.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Adesanya for coming into this one and doing that. You know, he didn't need to fight him again so quickly, but that's that competitive nature that he wants to do. He wants to beat him, wants to like get rid of that bogeyman. History has shown though that Pereira wins 3 times out of 3. Now, granted, he was doing very well. He was winning the fight, you know, so he can take a lot of positives away from that. But so can Pereira. Pereira can say, you know what, when I went for it in round 5, when I truly let it go because I knew I was behind on the scorecards, I got the finish. So Pereira's going to be way more aggressive in this one.
You give him the edge?
He hits bloody hard. And he's a very good kickboxer.
Yeah.
Adesanya's a better kickboxer, but doesn't hit as hard. You know, so I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's a tough one. And last one, McGregor Chandler. Who do you give the edge to in that fight?
Chandler.
Yeah.
Chandler, just simply inactivity from Conor.
Yeah.
The performances haven't been what they used to be. He broke his leg last time out. You know, he's enjoying the fruits of his labour, and rightly so. You know, I mean, he's achieved wild success. So why shouldn't he enjoy that? But that isn't always conducive to a great fighting career. You know, Michael Chandler is an athlete first. I mean, he is training every single bloody day, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I give him the edge, but you can never discount Conor, you know, and the man can crack, and Chandler does get hit.
Your thoughts on Islam Makhachev's performance against Volkanovski? Just, you know, we're a month or so removed. Just what did you think of that fight? Because it was super close.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought he looked fantastic. I thought the striking was the best we've ever seen. It was laser accurate, you know, a lot of power. You know, because we know he can wrestle, and he did manage to wrestle, but Volkanovski managed to get back to his feet most of the time. He had some control time, but he really impressed me with the striking. Listen, both men impressed me. You know, I thought Islam was the winner in a very close fight. I had it 3 rounds to 2, and they were all close rounds though. They were very, very close. But if you've got to pick a winner, I'll give it to Islam, but I'll also give it to Volkanovski for being the man and showing up the way that he did. Volkanovski's incredible. I'm such a fan of his. I love how he carries himself. I love what he's about. I love what he represents. I love the way he fights. He went up against the pound-for-pound #1 and just came up ever so slightly short. If Islam stripped down to 145, that'd be a different outcome.
Yeah. And does anyone at 155 beat Islam right now, do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe like Armin, there's Fiziev as well.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just so stacked.
Yeah.
It's so stacked. 155 is mental. I think we're seeing a changing of the guard, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's all those new guys, like you say, Armin Sarukian, Mateusz Gamrot. We've got Beneil Dariush waiting in the wings, you know, so... I mean, listen, styles make fights, but Islam's got a great style, but he's also in the toughest division. But I do think he'll defend it for a few times.
And last question for me, how do you do it all, man? Dad, successful YouTuber now, BT Sport, you name it, you're doing everything. How do you balance it all? Google Calendar, how do you do it?
No, it's insane. I don't get a minute to myself.
Yeah.
I do not get a minute to myself, but I like to be busy, I like to be productive, and I like to take care of my family. And that's why I do all this. So, yeah, I never get to see my family because I'm always bloody working.
Yeah.
But I like it. You know, I love the sport of mixed martial arts. I'm truly passionate about it, so it doesn't feel like work. I mean, yeah, sure, sometimes it does, but generally, I have such a passion and thirst for the sport. It never gets old. It's always exciting, and that's why I love it, man.
And you make time for interviews, Mike. Really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, James. Keep up the good work.